because there was times where I would go to jail and I would mean like I want to get clean, I want to get
Oh,
clean, and then
every time you go to jail, you're no, I'm done. I'm
yeah,
done this time.
yeah, but you mean that from like the bottom of your
I
heart,
know you
and
do.
then when the doors open, it's a
You'll
whole
like
different
read the
story.
Bible and shit
Oh yeah,
and be like, yeah, right. God wouldn't give me anything I can't handle. I can do this. I'm gonna
yep,
get sober. Like,
yep,
and then the doors open, you're right back at it.
yep. You go right back to those same people in the same places, and yeah,
Um, so you were you injecting meth?
yeah.
Injecting meth, injecting crack.
Hmm.
How'd you break down your crack?
So, with the crack, I only like did that a couple of times. I smoked crack though. That was
Okay.
my big thing.
Shooting,
Um,
it's a different
oh
ball
yeah,
game.
oh yeah. I shot powder like one time, and it was
It's
horrible,
crazy.
dude. You heard the
It
trains
is.
coming.
It is a different drug.
Oh yeah, it's bad. I thought meth was crazy, but like
When you
that's
shoot
bad.
cocaine versus snorting it, it's insane.
Hey Lou, I've got a story I want to share on the podcast. How do I do that?
Well, you can email us at getagrippodcast614@gmail.com or fill out the form fill in our link tree.
What about if I just want to show our boys some love and support the podcast?
You can follow us at official Get a Grip Podcast on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook to follow our short clips, or YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts for our long forms. We're also on iHeartRadio. We're everywhere.
What about a behind the scenes look at Get a Grip Podcast?
Snapchat's the place for that.
I heard all the kids are doing it.
Smash that like button and subscribe. Boop. All right, we are back with another episode of Get a Grip Podcast, and today we have Katie White from Cincinnati. Katie, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Much appreciated. You reached out on Facebook, and we'd been talking about this for a minute, and you made it out here, so thank you.
Thank you.
Let's dive in. We always love to start at childhood just because of the traumas and the things that happen as a kid that lead you down the road that we went down.
Yeah.
So tell me about your childhood and how that went.
Okay, so my childhood was actually pretty good. I was with my mom. Her and my dad split when I was like 5, so, but we bounced around a lot. So I grew up kind of in Cincinnati a little bit, and then from there we went to Kentucky, and then to Columbus, a little piece of like Delaware for a while.
Oh,
And then,
really?
yeah, that was kind of cool. But for the most part, it was just normal. You know what I mean? Like my mom was at work all the time. I went to school, did my thing. Like it was cool. And
Did you
then
do okay in school?
yeah, I was actually a really good student, surprisingly.
Really?
Yeah, until about middle school, and then that's when stuff started to get a little bit crazy for me. So, like, I started hanging out with the wrong people and chasing after boys and started smoking weed and drinking and all
In
that
middle
typical
school?
stuff. Yeah, like
How
7th
old?
grade,
How old were you?
12.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Were you like actively like constantly drinking and
Not constantly, but
just
like,
here and there?
yeah, every chance I could, though. Like,
Okay.
every, like, weekend we could do
So
it,
you were
or,
planning around it,
yeah,
basically.
for sure.
Planning around your drinking at 12.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
wild.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then I ended up getting into trouble for not going to school like truancy and probably into 7th grade, beginning of 8th grade. So when that happened and I got put on probation and stuff, obviously I'm gonna pop positive for marijuana and alcohol and all of that. So they put me in drug court.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
Holy shit, that's a young age to be in drug court.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. So with that, like,
Drug court's a bitch. I did
oh
it.
yeah, I did it as an adult and as a kid, and it sucks.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, it sucks so bad.
It's intense.
Yeah. So, with that, like, they wanted me to do AA and they wanted me to do, like, all these classes and stuff.
Piss in a
And,
cup 5 times a week.
yep. Couldn't miss school, couldn't do none of that,
Yep.
right? So, it went okay for, like, 2 months probably. And then after that, like, I just started doing what I wanted. Like, I stopped going to school again. I started acting out with my mom, like, just being crazy. And so my mom and I, like, well, my mom and my stepdad would, like, call my PO and stuff on me if, like, I wouldn't go.
Oh,
Or,
they were telling you.
oh, yeah, for sure.
Damn.
So, like, if she tried to get me up and I would fight with her, she's like, oh, I'm calling your PO. So there was multiple occasions where, like, he would show up and he'd be the one to get me up and out of bed and, like, make me go to school, or it was either that or go to jail. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
It's crazy.
You know what's funny about that story? I have a quick story to tell. So I ended up working at a correctional facility, the one that I was locked up at.
Oh, wow.
So my file was still in the system when I got there,
Mhm.
and I found out the person I was living with when I was on house arrest was calling my PO behind my back and telling on me. That's how I found out.
crazy.
They were like, yeah, he's not doing this, he's not doing that. And I was like reading through all my shit and like my mug shots and everything. It was wild. They were just
Wow.
ratting me out behind my back. I had no fucking clue.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was wild.
It's a crazy experience for sure. But yeah, so like after all of that stuff had happened, like it got to a point where my mom couldn't really control me anymore. Like it was already to that point, but like really to that point then. So I ended up, I think I missed a couple of weeks of school or something, and I remember, so I had went to jail like once before this, and then the next time that I went to
Juvie?
jail, yeah, juvenile,
Okay.
it was Clark County Detention Center, because I grew up, like I said, all over the place, but Springfield was like majority of where I was until I was probably about like 19, and then
Okay.
I moved to Cincinnati for like the last however long, 'cause
Okay.
I'm 28 now, so almost 10 years, but um, so when I went to jail like the second or third time after that, the judge had told me pretty much it was like either you get it together and you start going to school, or I'm going to send you to what they called Cobra. It was like a boot camp out in like Amish country or
Oh
something.
God.
Yeah. So the next time that like I went to jail or whatever, I'm fully prepared for this. Like, all right, I'm getting sent off. Like, this is what it is. Well, when we ended up going to court and stuff, luckily for me, apparently the guy who owned Cobra, because it was like a privately owned like business, I
Mm-hmm.
guess, like a private prison kind of thing, but they had a contract with the detention center and stuff. So the guy who owned it apparently had passed away. So like dodged a bullet in that
Oh wow.
situation like right away. So what they ended up doing instead was they sent me to foster care. Because
Really?
obviously my mom couldn't control me, and like
Yeah.
that was like the next thing, and they couldn't really send me to DYS because I didn't do anything but not go to school. Like I
Right.
didn't have felonies.
Right.
So they ended up putting me in foster care, and I went with, I'll never forget her. Her name was Yolanda. She was like this older black lady. She had me, and then I was the oldest, and then she had a daughter she adopted and two others that she was getting ready to adopt, but they were all like 7 and 8 years old. So
Was she
uh,
all right?
she was cool for the most part. She was
Okay.
strict, but like she was cool. So like she would let my mom come and see me when she wasn't supposed to come and see me and stuff, and like if I was good or whatever, she'd like let me go with my mom for a couple hours, and then I could come back, all unbeknownst to like the court and stuff, because she wasn't supposed to be doing
Right.
that. Um, but at that time too, like I was smoking cigarettes and stuff. So when I would go with my mom, she'd bring me cigarettes, and then I would go back to the foster home or whatever and like sneak outside to smoke and shit. And I remember one of my little foster sisters like finding me one day, and it was a wrap after that. Dude, she was like trying to blackmail me. So every time I would go with my mom, I'd have to like bring them snacks home and stuff so she wouldn't tell on me
She
for
wouldn't
smoking
tell. Yeah.
cigarettes. Yeah, it's crazy. But so like the thing with that was that I had to start going to school on a regular basis and bring my grades up to be able to go back with my mom, and she had to complete some kind of like parenting course or something.
Okay.
So she did that, and that went well, and like I got my grades up a little bit, and they eventually ended up letting me go back with my mom.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So about that time, I'd say I'm probably like 14 or 15 when I ended up going like back with my mom. So I was there for like 6 months or so. So I was probably, yeah, like 13, almost 14, and then when at the time I was with my mom, I was like 14 and 15. So um, I started chilling out a little bit, wasn't really smoking weed. I was doing the whole like AA thing that they wanted me to do and stuff. I had a sponsor. I was going to this meeting that was like a youth meeting at a
Did they
church.
make you get a sponsor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But the guy who ended up being my sponsor, I know that's so cliche, but I mean, I only had a couple options.
Yeah.
So,
Not supposed to do that.
his name was Bob, and he had like 25 years clean. He was a really cool guy. So, I'm doing the whole thing, and I'm going, and I'm like doing the steps and all of that good stuff, and I ended up getting like 18 months clean or so, and that was a big thing. Like, I remember that. Well, so around that time, like I started getting to the point where I'm going to be done with probation
So
almost.
you had 18 months. Were you like, I have a problem at that point?
Yeah. So
Okay.
Like I said, I was still young and like drinking and stuff, but when I would drink, dude, I would drink like 2 and 3, 4 Locos and be blackout
Oh
drunk.
yeah,
That was
the
back
old Four
when.
Locos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would be like blackout drunk and not remember anything. Like, and I had remembered at one point that I went and got drunk with my friends at this candy shop in Urbana, and it's like in the middle of nowhere, but one of my friends' parents own it, and we were drinking and stuff, and like I had given myself alcohol poisoning, and like it was really really bad, like I'm throwing up and it was just awful. So I knew I had a problem, you know
Okay.
what I mean, but I didn't look at it so seriously like I look at it now, you know what I
Right.
mean, like
Right.
I come to the realization, but I'm still thinking in my head like this is normal, I'm young,
Maybe
like
I can control it still.
right,
Yeah.
right. So um so, like I said, I had like 18 months clean, and then I ended up almost getting off of probation. By this point, I'm probably a freshman in high school. So, I was on probation for like a good little period of time from like
Yeah.
seventh grade till like freshman year. And I'm going to school and doing everything, and it's all good, and I'm doing the meetings and everything like that. And then I remember my probation officer that I did have was getting ready to retire, so my caseload got switched to someone else.
Okay.
And I think now that I look back on it, they didn't want to deal with me. You know what I mean? So he just hurried up and like got me out of there.
Got you out.
Yeah. So,
God, that's a bold ask for a young kid to do drug court.
it's crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, there was a lot of kids like in that
And you got to go to
court.
school too.
Yep.
Like
So you had to
that's
go to court every week on Wednesday and check in before that, and then you had to do school, you had to do meetings, you had to do all of this
yeah,
stuff and follow curfews and
it's a
guidelines and
lot for a young kid.
yeah, but I mean, I'm kind of grateful for it cuz I was definitely wilding out, and had I been left to my own devices,
Yeah.
like some crazy stuff would have happened.
Yeah.
So, but so when I got the new probation officer, he came and seen me like once or twice at school, and then I remember like probably the second time he came, and then he was like, "You're done." Basically, I'll send the paperwork in the mail, all this. So after that, I lasted probably like another 2 months or so, and I ended up drinking and stuff again with like all my friends, and I met my first son's dad and ended up getting pregnant with him at like 15, had him at 16. Like,
Jeez.
yeah, it was wild. So at that point, like I ended up moving out of my mom's house and moving in with him because he was 19 and I was 16. And that was a wild ride, but I really didn't do anything too crazy. Like I smoked weed here and there and I drank here and there. So like I was able to manage it for a while. And then some stuff ended up happening between the two of us, and like he put his hands on me, and I just couldn't put my son through that. You know what I mean? So, um,
God, I hear that so much.
yeah,
It's crazy. I hear it so often.
yeah, it was
I don't
wild.
get it.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I feel like a lot of it was because I was young and I thought that that was the person I was going to be with for the rest of my life. Like, and I wanted to make it work because like my parents weren't together when I grew up. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? So like I wanted something different for my own kid. So I put up with that for probably like 2 years. So once I turned 18 was like when all of that stuff happened, and he had been putting his hands on me, but this last time it was like really really bad. Like we were at my mom's house and she was gone for the weekend, and it was just me, him, and the baby. And like I remember him holding me hostage in my mom's house, like punching me in the face with my son in my arms. Like it was crazy.
Jeez.
So I ended up like getting away from him and just try to like maintain for a little while and do like the whole mom thing and like living with my mom, and I just hated being there. You know what I mean? So I ended up getting into like another relationship with someone else real shortly after. Like I didn't give myself too much of time, and moving back out, and that went well. You know what I mean? I ended up getting a job at a factory and stuff, and like was doing really decent for myself. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't too bad. And but the drinking and stuff and the smoking weed was still very prevalent. Like, so I'm trying to think how like else to go from here. We ended up, so I was with that guy for like another 2 or 3 years till I was probably so 18, 19. I ended up breaking up with him when I was like 20 or 19, and that's when I made the decision to move to Cincinnati because my mom had moved from Springfield to Goshen, Ohio, which is really like the outskirts of Cincinnati.
Okay.
But my dad lived in Cincinnati my whole life.
Okay.
So I just felt like being closer to them was probably the better thing. So, but in the process of that, I ended up asking my baby's dad if he could take my son because my mom, like, her house just wasn't safe for my son to be at. Like, she just, I don't know, she's a hoarder kind of. So, like, I didn't want to
Okay.
put him through that. You know what I mean? So, um, I ended up doing that. And the rule was that we were going to wait 6 months. And that by the time, like, 6 months had came around, I should have my shit together in a place and all of that stuff. So, but I was still going to see him, like, when I was there, come down on the weekends and see him and whatever. So I ended up moving in with my mom, and I had a couple of friends that, like, I knew from when I would go to my dad's house on the weekends and stuff. So I kind of, like, reached out to them and all of that, and that was probably, like, the biggest mistake that I could have made because they were all, like, getting high and stuff, and I just didn't know it at that point. So, I started, like, hanging out with them when I could and stuff, and they normalized stuff for me. Like, they passed, like, bubbles around like I used to pass blunts around, you know what I'm saying? So, I
So
remember,
meth,
yeah,
meth came into the picture.
yeah, yep. So, I remember being drunk one night, and I had told, the girl that I was hanging out with that, like, I couldn't drink clear because I, like, end up fighting something or doing something stupid, and that's what I ended up doing. So, she left for like maybe 5 minutes, and the guy that she was like hanging out with, she had told him like, don't let her do anything, like whatever, whatever. And he ended up kind of like talking me into it, but I feel like it was a super easy transition, which is crazy. But like I just ended up doing it,
Did you
and
like it?
not at first. No, I definitely didn't. It like made me feel really anxious, and
Yeah,
like I couldn't fucking sit still.
I know.
Like, I was walking circles in the living room. I felt like I'd walked, like, or ran miles, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, it was super uncomfortable at first. But, like I said, I just kept being around these people. And, like, I feel like I was trying to navigate life without having my son. Because, like, you go from being a kid to having a kid. And then it's like, that's your whole existence.
Mm-hmm.
Like, providing for him and taking care of him. I didn't know who I was without that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, I feel like a little bit of it was like depression, but a little bit of it was me trying to have my teenage angst, if that makes
Sure,
sense. Like,
sure.
so
What you missed out on.
kind of, yeah, I feel like, I mean, yeah, I was smoking and drinking and stuff when I was younger, but
Right.
like I didn't really get to have the experiences that everybody else did.
Mm-mm.
So, um, I like continued to just hang around those people and then kept
So are
meeting.
you smoking meth now?
Yeah,
Like,
at this
just
point,
regularly?
pretty much, yeah. Like I remember at first being so proud of the fact I could count how many times I'd gotten high on my hands and my feet, and then like after that, I was like, oh well, maybe I am
Oh,
really like these
out of
people,
toes and fingers now.
right? Like maybe I am really like these people. You know what I mean? So, in the process of like all of that, I ended up meeting my second son's dad. So like he opened the doors for like pretty much everything. Like I smoked crack with him for the first time. I shot heroin with him for the first time. Like it was crazy how fast everything progressed from that first time of me getting high in that house. Within probably 3 to 6 months,
You
not even.
you shot heroin
Oh yeah.
for the first time.
Oh
You
yeah.
didn't even snort it, or
So the first time I ever did dope, I snorted it and like threw up and I hated it. But then it was real quick after that I tried to like shoot up with him because that's how he did all of his
yeah,
drugs. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, okay, well we'll make sure it's safe and this and that. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, all right, I guess this is what we're
sure,
doing. You know
whatever
what I
you
mean?
say.
So I did it that one time and like just didn't. It scared me. Like, because I didn't have control, you know what I'm saying? And I was so scared to die that, like, I chilled out for a minute after that. But once, like, after I ended up, like, leaving him and having my son and stuff, like, that's when it really, really got bad for me. But let me kind of, like, get to that point, I guess. So, um, like I said, I met my son's dad and, like, he introduced me to everything. But we were together for probably, like, 3 years. And in the process of that, like, we ended up getting pregnant with my son probably 6 months or so after like meeting each other, and then I chilled out on everything. Like I stopped getting high, I stopped running around those people. I got a job, I got a car, and I got us a place. Like in this little ho-dunk town in the outskirts of Cincinnati, it's called Felicity. And it's like, dude, they don't even have stop signs, like, or
Damn.
stoplights. They got one stop sign and type shit. So, we were staying out there because his sister lives out there. So that it went good for a while. Like I was working, like I said, at Cricket. That was cool. And he was just kind of like at home doing his thing. And then he ended up like when I lost my job because I was getting too close to like having the baby and stuff and whatever, he ended up getting a job doing construction and stuff, and then got his license and everything so that he could drive me home from the hospital.
Was he still getting high?
Here and there, yeah, but not as much as he was
Okay.
before. So, when I had my son, we like all that was cool, and probably I want to say like right after I had my son, because I remember getting this script of Percocets because I had a C-section, and once those ran out, like I started doing dope again, like so I was like snorting dope here and there, and then I remember probably 3 or 4 months into that, I woke up dope sick for the first time. Now, mind you, my son's still like very very small at this point. But I called my dad. I remember this like it was yesterday. I called him and I was like, dude, look, like this is what's going on. This is what I've been doing. I don't know what to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like I need help. So his version of like helping me was to call CPS because he doesn't have experience with heroin at all. Like he's done powder here and there, but like he has no experience with heroin. So when he did that, um, I remember it was so at this point, my baby's dad's whole family is living with me in this trailer. Like his sister, his mom, his brother, his sister's kid, his
Damn.
sister's boyfriend. There was like 10 of us in this motherfucker.
Jeez.
So, I remember like CPS showing up and I try to hide in the closet with my son because I'm scared they're gonna like take him. You know what I mean? And everybody in the house is getting high. Like, so, I go out there eventually after they brought the cops with them, and they're like, look, like either you come out or we're coming to get you type stuff. So, um, I end up going out there and I'm talking to her, and she's like, well, like we can come up with a safety plan. Do you got anybody that you can call that'll let you and the baby come stay there until we can get you into treatment? And I tried to call my dad. He didn't answer. I tried to call my aunt. She didn't answer, but my oldest stepbrother answered the phone. And he let me and my son and my baby's dad come there until we could get into treatment. And so we're staying there, and the whole time, like, we're staying there, I'm still snorting dope. Like, still going and copping dope and leaving him and my son's dad there or whatever, you know what I mean? And then they ended up getting me into a place called First Step. It's like a mother and baby's home or whatever. And then my son's dad ended up going to the ARC program, which is supposed to be a really
Heard
good
of
program.
that. Yep.
Yeah. So, but I had to go to detox first. So they let me take my son to my cousin. She ended up taking him while I was in detox. I went to Portsmouth to detox, and then I went to treatment like after that.
Okay.
And then they brought the baby to me after being there for like 2 or 3 days, something like that. So I ended up being in First Step for like, I want to say 5 months or so, almost 6 months, something like that. A good little chunk of time, like however long it took him to complete his program. And then we ended up going to a sober living, all three of us together. But it didn't last very long. So like during this period, I was talking to somebody that was in prison. So that was great.
Nice.
And it happened to be somebody that like my baby dad knew. So, but he was getting ready to get out, and like I was already trying to make like excuses for why I didn't want to be with my son's dad. You know what I mean? Because like throughout our whole little relationship, it was pretty good for the most part. But in the beginning, like he was ripping and running because he was high and cheating on me and all that stuff. So, I ended up like going with his name's B. I ended up going with him like when he got out of jail, and I went and seen him, and then basically never left. So once again, I like up and left my kid with his dad, and like it's crazy. I still struggle with that a little bit, but that was probably the best thing I could have done instead of dragging him through it with me. You know what I mean? So, and that's when like stuff like really really started to take off. Like, I was full blown at that point. Like I started shooting meth, and then I started doing heroin again, and like it was just crazy, dude. Like super crazy, and like that relationship was so just like super detrimental to me, I feel like, because like now he's in prison for killing somebody. So
Oh,
yeah, not just one person but two people.
wow.
So if that tells you like any type of like how he is as a
So
person.
he's doing life?
Oh yeah, he got 23 and a half years, I think, for two bodies. It's crazy.
Jeez.
Yeah, but at first it was like all fun and exciting, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think I was done at that
Right,
point. I'd
right.
only really been getting high for a very short period of time, and like I feel like you come to a point in your addiction where like you got to hit bottom, you know what I mean? And I just don't think I was at that point yet.
No.
So like in that relationship, it was a whole different side of things.
Were you
Like,
guys like fighting over drugs and shit?
oh yeah,
Oh, it's the
oh
worst.
yeah, for sure. And then it was like he would go to jail during that relationship too. Like he would go to jail, and I would have to take care of not only my habit but his habit because he's doing K2 and shit in there. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
so you
So,
would try to put money on his books
oh
to
yeah. So
Jesus.
with me, it was like the only options that I had in that situation. Like I hadn't even started catching charges as an adult yet at this point. So for me, I was like, okay, well, let me call these people that he knows and that he gets his shit from, and like let me see if they'll put me on. You know what I'm saying? So like I started doing that, and like it was some short shit, but I mean it was enough to like survive and like can make like my own habit be easy.
Free.
Yeah. So and so I did that for a while. Like we did this back and forth for
So,
like a
so you were
year.
like middlemaning?
Yeah, pretty much for the most part. But like I said, we did that for like a year, and like he would go back on violations or whatever because he was still on parole and stuff, and then I'd be on my own and have to figure out how to navigate the streets by myself, and I'd never done that before, you know what I mean? So, it was super crazy, really, actually. Like, it ended up like at first where I was just kind of bouncing from place to place to place and staying with friends or staying with friends of friends or whatever. And then eventually got to the point like when him and I finally did break up and like stop messing with each other, like I feel like I kind of really lost my mind at that point. Like it was really crazy because I didn't know like a whole lot of like how to do it on my own, you know what I mean? Like I was so used to like trying to take care of somebody else or having
Sure.
somebody else to show me like what to do.
Yeah.
So I really started like wilding at that point. Like started stealing cars and like doing the
Whoa.
most. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. So I was the type of person
Stealing
oh
cars?
yeah.
How often did you do that?
So there was like three occasions where like I remember doing that for sure. But
Damn, that's ballsy.
yeah, but I mean if you're in a situation where it's like okay, either it's me or you, it's going to be me that walks out every time. You know what
Right.
I mean? So like there would be situations where like the one situation particularly with the car thing was I was staying with these people and I was kind of taking care of them a little bit, but like I was looking out for them. And what ended up happening is they robbed me for like everything that I had. So we me and the dude's girlfriend end up going. She's supposed to take me somewhere. She goes in to go boost, and at this point, I had felony warrants for F5, which is nothing. But at that point, I'm thinking it's the whole world. You know what I'm
Right. Oh,
saying?
yeah.
So she goes in to go boost, and I'm sitting out in the car, and I felt like she was just taking too long. So I looked, and I seen if the keys were in there, and they were. So I like circled the parking lot a couple times, and then just took off. And the way I justified it in my head was like they took me up top, so I mean, and she left me out here with felony warrants, and she's going in here to steal.
Yeah.
Like it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was
So did she, what happened to her?
so. Honestly, I still don't even know what happened to her that day. I don't think she got caught. I think I was just like tweaking.
Okay.
But I ended up taking the car and it ran out of gas going on to the
Hmm.
exit to get off somewhere. So I pulled it over and checked in the glove box. Sure as shit, there was a gun in there. So I took it and
Wow.
then threw the keys underneath the thing and just took off on foot. Like, and didn't hear nothing else about it and except for the guy. I ended up running into him when I got clean, and he was like super upset about the whole situation. And I'm like, look dude, like this is what happened. I don't know what you want me to tell you at this point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
done and over with. There's nothing I could do about it. You probably would have did the same thing if you were me,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So but I don't know, where was I at? Oh, so yeah, so like I said, I started like middlemaning and stuff and ripping and running and just doing the most, like catching charges and stuff. So I did
What kind of charges were you catching?
so I caught the F5, that was the first thing. And then
With
they put me,
possession?
yeah, yep. So I tried to steal from a UDF in like Reading, which is like the wrong place to be at trying to steal, you know what I mean? So, when I took off and the cop caught up to me, I had shit on me at that point.
What are you stealing from UDF?
It was some stupid shit. I think it was like chocolate milk and like some
Oh
just
my
little dumb
God.
shit, you know what I mean? So, and I gave the stuff back to him. That's the crazy thing. But when he found me, I was like up the street and I had this backpack on me, like we do. And I ended up having stuff on me, so he got me for that. And then I went to jail. They ended up OR bonded me, and then shortly after that, they decided that I was a good candidate for drug court, or like ILC in lieu of conviction. So I just went with whatever they said because like I'm ready to go at this point.
Yeah.
So I told them I would do it, and it was all cool. Well, then as soon as they let me out, I ran, and then they ended up catching me again on that same charge like later, and I kind of tried to lay down for a second, like, and chill out. My dad ended up letting me stay with him, and they put me on the box for like 4 months, and I did okay. And then as soon as the box came off, I was right back
Right
running
back.
again. So, and then after that, I ended up catching a F4 theft without consent for a gun, and a F3 theft without consent for a car that I stole. So,
Damn.
yeah, it was a crazy
Did that
situation.
lead to prison time?
So it should have, but actually this is what led me to like getting clean. So there's a program in the Hamilton County Justice Center called the Care Pod. It's through like Addiction Service Council. It's kind of like just your regular jail-based treatment.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went this last time and got arrested, I was like, okay, well, let me try something different. You know what I mean? And I got put in there and did that for 6 months. And the judge that I had, he's like a program judge anyway. So
That's good.
yeah, it looked really good on me, like all the way around. So I did that, and like they gave them good reports, and I had a plan for when I got out of there and stuff. So he ended up letting me sign for 4 years of probation instead of like prison time. But like basically, if I was to mess up on probation, I would go for whatever remainder amount of
Right.
time that I had
Your
left.
shelf time.
Yep. So I ended up doing that, and when I got out, I ended up going to sober living and stuff, and just got really connected like within the recovery community, and just did something I've never done before. Like it's crazy.
So that was after you went that last time, that's when you got clean.
Yeah.
So what did that look like? You went to the sober living. Tell
So
me about that.
Okay, so I ended up going to the sober living. Well, okay, so when I got out of jail, I called my dad because I didn't know if I could get placement right away. So he came and got me. I went there for a few days, and then I ended up getting into contact with the people from the jail-based treatment and was like, hey, look, like I'm out. What do I do? Like, where do I go? So they got me connected with Talbert House, which is a sober living place out in Cincinnati. And they got me in somewhere, and I went there and was there for probably like 3 or 4 months, and like going to meetings and doing all this stuff, you know. And then I ended up getting an opportunity to where I could move in with my little brother because his baby mom and roommate moved out, so he had space for me. You know what I'm saying? So I moved in with him and got a job and stuff, and just kept doing the same thing, like going to meetings and talking to people in recovery and cutting everybody off, and um, it's been working out. So
I want to rewind a bit. I want to
okay,
rewind to you and B and
okay,
your relationship. Are
okay.
there any wild stories that took place when you guys were together?
So,
Because it sounds like that was the most tumultuous
oh,
time
oh
of
yeah,
your life.
for sure. I think probably one of the craziest stories I could think of, like off the top of my head, was we ended up going to a hotel in Sharonville. There's like a bunch of hotels on this one strip. It's right off the
Is
highway.
it like shitty
Oh
hotels?
yeah, shitty,
Okay,
super
we,
shitty. You
we
got
kind of
like,
have that in Columbus
yep,
and
you
up
got
on
Broadway inns
161.
and
Yep,
Days Inns
yep.
and all of that stuff. So, we ended up going to the Days Inn out there, and we met up with one of his friends that he's like cool with, or I don't know if you could call him a friend, but I guess like a friend. But anyways, so, but when he got around this particular guy, like he was always like very much trying to prove himself as a man and like as a person. Like it's one of those situations like trying to puff his chest up. So,
Yep.
um, we're staying there, everything's cool, whatever. Well, then checkout time comes and we got to get out of there. So we started like walking towards this gas station that's kind of like catty corner from where it was at.
Okay.
And I remember just jokingly like making a statement to him, and I'm like, look, like look at that car over there running. Like, it's at the gas pump, nobody's in it, whatever. I was like, you're a bitch if you don't take it, right? And so, next thing I know, I remember, dude, like, he just runs. Me and his friend, dude's name's Hardaway, he's standing right there with me, and then B just takes off, right? And I'm thinking, oh, shit, like, he's really gonna do it. He jumps in the car, goes to go pull off, and when he goes to go pull off, the guys whose car it was comes running out of BP, right? So you see dude like running towards the car, and B's just taking off. Dude ends up trying to like grab onto the side of the window, and Brandon just keeps going, like he's just pulling off with dude, like he's dragging him. And I swear he drug dude for like a mile, but I don't think it was really that long.
Right.
But he ends up pulling up to like where the street is and where we're at, and Hardaway goes running, and he jumps through the window, and then I go running and jump through the back seat. And when I landed in the back seat, there was a baby seat back there, like a car seat. So I'm like sitting in this car seat, like, thank God there's no kid in here.
Jesus.
But yeah, and then we ended up having that car for like a month. I taught him how to change the brakes on that stolen car. I taught him how to do to check his oil on that stolen car. All
Really?
kinds of shit. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We ended up breaking down in the middle of like this Richie Rich neighborhood in Cincinnati, and then he had somebody come pick us up. But yeah, it was a crazy time
That's wild.
for sure.
Let me ask you, now that you're sober, what would you tell somebody, or what suggestions would you give to a person that is still out there doing what you were doing?
So my best suggestion would be to reach out, like, to the people that love you the most, or to where you can get help, or go to a meeting, or do something like that, because, like, the sooner that you can get connected, the sooner that you could get better, like, if that's something that you really want to do.
How many tries did it take you? Like actual tries?
So if we count, do I count, like, the juvenile time, too?
I don't know. Did you try? Was it an actual
Yeah,
attempt?
I feel like it was.
Okay,
It
then
was,
yeah,
so,
it counts.
honestly, I would say it probably took me like 5 or 6 times, really. Like, because there was times where I would go to jail and I would mean like, I want to get clean, I want to get
Oh,
clean.
every time
And then,
you go to jail, you're fucking, no, I'm done. I'm
yeah,
done this time.
yeah. But you mean that from like the
I
bottom of your
know.
heart.
I know you
And
do.
then when the doors open, it's a
You'll
whole
like
different
read the
story.
Bible and shit
Oh, yeah.
and be like, yeah, right. God wouldn't give me anything I can't handle. I can do this. I'm
Yep.
gonna get sober. Like,
Yep.
and then the doors open, you're fucking right back at it.
Yep. You go right back to those same people in the same places. And yeah.
So you were you injecting meth?
Yeah.
Injecting meth, injecting crack.
hmm
How'd you break down your crack?
So, with the crack, I only like did that a couple of times. I smoked crack though. That was
Okay.
my big thing.
Shooting, it's a different
Oh
ball
yeah.
game.
Oh yeah. I shot powder like one time and it was
It's
horrible.
fucking crazy.
Dude, you heard the trains
It is.
coming.
It is a different drug.
Oh yeah, it's bad. I thought meth was crazy, but like
When you
that's
shoot
bad.
cocaine versus snorting it, it's insane.
Oh yeah, I'm already an anxious person, so like my anxiety
Yeah.
was on 10, dude. I
That's
ended
why
up leaving.
I yicked the speedball. I'd do heroin with my powder so
Yeah.
that I wouldn't fucking get that anxiety.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did that a lot with like meth and fentanyl for a long time. Like for probably like 2 or 3 years, my whole life was a speedball. So I get that for sure,
Your whole life was a speedball.
bro. For real, it was crazy.
That's funny.
Mhm.
What is your life like today?
So today, like I chill for real. Like I go to work, I go home, I try to make time for the people that I care about. Like, and it's a lot better now than it's ever been. I feel like honestly. So
Do you have triggers ever? Anything pop up? Like, I have them occasionally. I have 10 years, and
yeah,
occasionally I'll have triggers, but they're fleeting
yeah.
now.
So I feel like the desire to use has definitely left, but for the most part, like there's sometimes I'll hear like a song or I'll think of a person or I'll go past a place and I'll think about it.
Yeah.
And it's a split
In
second,
your
like it
stomach,
hits
you
me.
can feel it in your stomach too.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, like, but then you think of like everything that you could lose because of that.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the desire to do it is not greater than what the desire I have to succeed now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Trying to think if I have anything else for you. Do you have any other stories you can tell me?
Trying to think here. Uh, well, I was homeless downtown Cincinnati for a while. Like literally lived under a bridge.
How long?
So it was for like a summer, but it was just because it was more convenient to be closer to the dope,
Thank
man.
God it was in the summer.
Yeah, I don't think I could have did it in the
I
wintertime.
couldn't.
Not at all. But the way that they do things in Cincinnati, like they got a shower house down there that you can take a shower, you can get clean clothes, they feed you 3 times a day. Like they make it
Really?
very easy for you to, not easy, but like easier to
To
be
be
homeless.
homeless?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy. And like I met I'm very much like a people person anyway, so like even when I was ripping and running, like I met people everywhere and like made connections everywhere. Like that's one of the my favorite things about myself is I'm very resourceful. But I ended up meeting this guy and his name's Tattoo or whatever, and he ended up building like a little cabin in the woods, like a full blown 1 room cabin. Like it was crazy. It's some of the wildest shit I've ever seen. And like that was something. What
You
else?
stayed there?
Yeah, I stayed behind it in a tent,
Oh,
but
okay.
like I wasn't about to sleep in there with him. You
Right.
know what I mean? But yeah, I stayed behind it in a tent. There was electric and everything. It was crazy.
Wow.
Um, and then like I said, I stayed under a bridge for a while. It was me and like a couple of people. They had a big like tent on this side and then a couple tents down on this side, and nobody ever fucked with us. Like they didn't. You can where we were is like right by 71, the highway, so there's
Hmm.
like a little park called, I think it's Eden Park or something in Cincinnati. It's like catty corner from where we were at, but like you walked down the highway and then walked underneath the bridge, and the corner you were on, you couldn't be seeing it all.
Did you care you were homeless? Because I only spent 30 days homeless,
Hmm.
but when I was homeless, I was like passively suicidal.
Yeah,
So it was like if I overdosed, if I got shot, if I got hit by a bus and I died, so be it. Like I
yeah,
wanted to kill myself, but I
yeah.
was too much of a coward. Did you ever feel that or experience that?
Dude, spot on the money, like exactly what you just said. If the way I remember specifically telling one of my really good friends, I do not give a fuck if I live or die at this point. Like, and that's really how I felt. If I ended up overdosing or somebody ended up offing me or something ended up happening, like I was perfectly content with that
Yeah,
because look at where I'm at now. Like,
I got nothing.
even though it was a choice and it was cool and it was fun for me in that moment, like, because I'm all about adventures no matter what. So, like, to me, I try to look at it like that in a way, which is really fucked up. But, like, I was just, like, look at me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was 100 pounds soaking wet.
God.
Like, I got scars all over my arms still to this day. But at that point, they were wide open. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was rough. It was really rough. And I felt like, I didn't have like my parents and everybody was always there if I like called them, but like were they actively going to come to my rescue? No. Or like the my kids thing was like a really big trigger for me. The way I looked at it was like I woke up or my kids woke up not once but twice and their mom wasn't there anymore. You know what I mean? So I let that shit eat me up for a long time. So like at that point I was definitely like just
Fuck
ready
it.
for it to be over with
Yeah.
one way or another, like so.
I couldn't I couldn't pull the trigger. Like if I had a gun,
Yeah.
I couldn't do it myself.
Yeah.
Like it would have had to have been somebody else. I'm just too much of a coward.
Or
Like,
something
you
else.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, well, listen, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Your story is fascinating. We really appreciate you coming out, taking the time. And congratulations on your sobriety.
Thank you very
Means
much.
means a lot. I know it means a lot to you. And hopefully you keep doing it one day at a time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.